Look at the picture. See the skull. Visible Frankenstein controls. The Brain Thoughts Broadcasting Radio. The Frankenstein Earphone Radio. The latest new skull reforming to contain all Frankenstein controls.
Welcome back to Frankenstein Control, coming to you live and pre-recorded from our brand new technical difficulties temporary studio.
Yeah, the studio is shit and we sound like shit and I hate everything.
You don't know that yet.
I mean, we sound okay. I'm sure this is a passable attempt. Our fans usually forgive us. When is us sounding like shit and being dumbasses ever stopped them before?
Exactly. This is normal. You come to expect this.
The quality you expect from the people you tolerate.
The quality you expect from the people you regret that you know.
I kind of want to have put like a really bad vocal filter on everything so the quality sounds like it's absolute garbage.
And then you bring it back and it's like, then I took Claritin Clear and now everything is so much clearer.
I used to feel down no matter what I did.
Next thing I knew, I ran into a birdhouse and I found Jesus.
What's that guy who used to be in there?
That's not what I wanted you to do the Claritin thing again.
Oh, we'd already done the Claritin.
And now I'm clear as a whistle or something.
What's
now
that guy?
my ears are as clear as my anus after a colonic.
What's that? The guy was it Ben Stein who talked like this?
Yeah, Ben Stein.
Ben Stein for Clear Eyes.
Don't touch the orb.
Don't touch the orb. Trust me on that.
Son, this is my precious jewel. If you touch it, I'll die.
I'm gonna steal.
This is my precious copy of a Rush Limbaugh book because Ben Stein's really conservative.
Oh yeah, that's true. He is.
The don't touch the orb thing was a callback to one of our very early episodes where I said he hasn't been seen since 2008 or something when he wandered into an LA pawn shop and shattered a mysterious orb. I don't remember the rest of the joke.
Well, that's why Ben Stein's money came to be. He shattered the orb, became cursed, and the only way to end the curse is to give away his worldly possessions. Mm-hmm. And that's where Ben Stein's money came from.
What if in the Marvel movies, when they got to which stone was it that he had to throw Gamora off the cliff?
Oliver Stone.
It was the Oliver Stone. What if they got there and it wasn't Red Skull that was guarding it? It was fucking Ben Stein.
I would actually really like that. I want the fucking Snyder cut of Endgame where it's 8 hours long and it has Ben Stein as the Red Skull.
He's not. No, it's not the Red Skull. It's just Ben Stein.
Well, that's what I meant. Yeah. Ben Stein in the Red Skull's place. He doesn't have the makeup. Nothing. It's just Ben Stein as Ben Stein.
That would make about the same amount of sense.
Yeah.
You had an intro, didn't you, B-Roy?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, who the fuck are we?
We're Frankenstein Control. Welcome to our idiot lair. We're currently recording from my bedroom. In our new home.
The big move happened.
And so things are a little in flux currently. I'm
Got
sure
our new studio set up here.
If we are in bad quality, despite the Claritin clarity,
we'll work it out by next time.
Well, don't make promises you can't keep, Eli.
I can say whatever I want because I don't do any of the actual technical work on this show.
Deadbeat.
I leave that to you two and just write the hee-haws.
You didn't even do that.
No, I didn't. That's because I was too. My mind got destroyed.
You're rubbish ride is what you are.
I didn't write anything because my mind got destroyed by Godzilla vs. Hedorah, which I will tell you both about in detail once we begin in earnest.
Godzilla vs. Hedonism bot this week on Frankenstein Control. I'm your host, Ed Bradley. To my right is Sigourney Weaver.
I'm Ada, also known as Sigourney Weaver, and I'm a giant sentient pile of trash.
And to my left, as always, is King Hedorah.
I'm Leslie Stahl.
I'm glad you hung on to the 60 Minutes thing.
My parents watched that all the time, so I grew up with that deeply ingrained into my memories. Ada, do you know about Godzilla vs. Hedorah? Is that why you made the living pile of trash joke?
Yeah, I know. It's a Hedorah, or I always said Hedorah.
It could be either one of them. I didn't pay enough attention. And
what if it was Godzilla versus Fedora?
That'd be a different kind of movie. I think that would be a more... Well, I dare not say that'd be more enjoyable, because Godzilla vs. Hedorah was pretty enjoyable in a mystery science. You can't... Well...
Use your words.
It was an experience. I can't use my words, Ada. It killed brain cells.
Oh, okay. I definitely want to see this movie now.
Yeah, that sounds great. That sounds like a movie night movie for sure.
I cannot believe while we were watching the film, I had to grab my phone and check whether Mystery Science Theater had done this one.
Maybe it was so wild that like they didn't even want to touch it.
Yeah, like how they never did Plan 9 from Outer Space.
Yeah.
And there's also licensing. Issues to work around.
It's a little bit of both with
people
them.
care about Godzilla.
Yeah.
So
that's
it's not as public domainy as some of the other stuff is.
That's true.
Like Manos, the Hands of Fate.
I was wondering if maybe they had done it. If they had done it, I would have expected it to be in one of the newer Netflix seasons where they have a little bit more pull.
Yeah, more money.
And it's an honor to be on Mystery Science Theater because it's cool now.
Yeah, sort of like how most people are with like Weird Al music.
Yeah,
like if Weird Al comes up to you and says, "Yo, I'm gonna do a parody of your song,"
you can't say no.
I mean, technically. He does his songs in such a way to where like he could just do them. He could just do them and not get in trouble.
Yeah, because
he just do them because it falls under fair use and parody. But he goes up and asks them anyway because he's a cool guy.
Yeah,
and pretty much famously the only person who wasn't happy about it was Coolio. I swear there was another person who wasn't happy about it either, but I can't remember who.
If you are a celebrity, in particular a musician, you haven't made it until two things have happened. Number one, Weird Al has done a cover of one of your songs, and South Park has made fun of you. Actually, South Park has become less and less relevant over the years. I think they sort of want to stop, but so.
I mean, a lot of things have become irrelevant over the years. Just like the internet has made all entertainment like this vast static, where like. Anybody can know, like, nobody knows about anything anyone's watching ever. Because there's so much shit out now.
Yeah.
That, you'd be like, oh man, I'm watching this show called Plum Bombs Gorb. It's pretty great. What do you think about it? And you're like, what the fuck is Plum Bombs Gorb? And, like, why don't you watch something entertaining like Quentin finds popcorn? And you're like, what the fuck is that? And literally everybody is constantly in a state of, oh, I've never seen that before. Oh, what is that about?
Yeah.
And then swiftly not checking out what they've just been told about and then watching the same 3 videos on YouTube over and over again.
Yes, exactly that.
Time to watch H-Bomber Guy's Pathologic 2 episode once more.
Yes, for the 18th time. I mean, and that's the funny thing though, is that like you end up watching the same shit over and over again because in a weird way your dumbass lizard brain kind of craves those kind of old days where everybody watched like kind of the same shit, and you kind of crave that as well. You crave that kind of normalcy. You crave that kind of familiarity.
So
just because you're constantly bombarded with shit from all sides. By the way, subscribe to the Frankenstein Control podcast.
We call that a call to action.
Yeah.
I wanted to speak up a minute about the concept of the good old days back when you watched the same shows as all your buds and would talk about it at school.
Okay, I also don't want to seem like an old-fashioned fogey, but like I want the days of MTV back where a song would come on and you'd never fucking hear it or see it again. I don't want to go back to those days. That sucks ass. I love living in the future, but it's also like, you just got to come to terms with some of the things that like, high probability nobody's going to know what the fuck you're talking about if you're talking about things that you watch because there's just so much shit. So always never treat any situation like someone has seen something you have before, especially now.
Dad and I used to camp and just leave MTV on back when it still played videos in the hopes that we would see either the music video for Clint Eastwood or the Gorillaz song, the music video for Schism by Tool,
or the music video for Weapon of Choice by Fat Boy Man.
That was a fantastic one that we would often see while waiting for the other two. Or we'd see a Primus video that would scare the shit out of me. Mr. Crinkle comes to mind.
Don't talk about Crinkles, dude. Not after this.
No! Not after last time. But
not after last time, dude.
Mr. Crinkle's he wears a pig mask and he's scary. It freaks me out. And I don't like it. It's a bad time.
Ada's eyes are closed and her mouth is wide in a smile. She's grinning ear to ear.
She's losing it. But so like...
she really is losing it.
to back it up a little bit.
Mr. Crinkle.
Oh my God, we found.
I hate it. I hate that it's funny.
Oh.
He's funny.
What happened, B-Ray? I promise I won't interrupt with being a dipshit anymore.
I was also reminded of this recently because Lissa and I, Lissa had never seen the Matrix movies before.
Oh.
What?
Yeah, she'd never seen the Matrix movies before.
Oh, I thought you said Lisa and I. I'm like, both of you?
No, I loved the Matrix movies.
I was like, B-Ray, that's so uncharacteristic. It involves thousands of henchmen being murdered
I
constantly.
adored the second Matrix movie, The Matrix Reloaded. That was like one of my favorite movies. I think my parents took me to that in theaters when it came out, and I was 13, and they shouldn't have.
The chateau scene fucking slaps, dude.
Oh, dude, I had that fucking, like, I had this figure, the stairs with the figures. It came with, like, Neo kicking a henchman through a statue.
Did it come with a bunch of those clear Mr. Freeze blocks? Trick question. No, it fucking didn't. No toy set ever fucking had them.
Nothing ever came with those.
Nothing ever fucking had them. Hold on.
We started down a bunch of tangents here. I wanna wind us back so we explore them all equally.
Yeah.
So we explore them all equally.
We were talking about the Matrix 2 Reloaded, the shit toe scene.
Yes, that is an excellent scene in an excellent movie. But Lissa had never seen the Matrix movies before, so I got to show her them.
Oh man, that means you had to show her the fucking rave scene again.
She loved the rave scene.
Oh, where everybody's fucking and licking each other?
She loved that scene.
They're like fucking tonguing each other's toes.
She plays the fucking music from that scene while we're driving down the road. I'm not kidding.
Putting their earlobes together.
She loved that scene.
They're putting their ears one on top of the other and waiting for them to go
Yeah.
when they separate them.
Yes. They're just doing a bunch of real weird sex stuff.
The greatest orgasm one could experience.
They're rubbing their penis heads all over the jaw lines of each other, just on the jaw lines.
Yes.
And it rolls around like a paint roller.
So we watched the Matrix movies, and then we went back and watched the Animatrix. This past weekend.
The best Matrix movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was
Otherwise,
really...
the Animatrix, otherwise known as Love, Death, and Robots, but good.
Yes.
What Love, Death, and Robots wishes it could be.
Yeah, what it set out to try and do and failed spectacularly at.
Twice, apparently.
First
I haven't seen the second season, and I'm being overly mean. I liked a couple of the ones from Love, Death, and Robots, but the more I think about it, the more I'm like, wow, there are more stinkers than good uns.
Yeah.
Zima Blue was kind of lightning in a bottle. You know, it feels more like a fluke than anything else that Zima Blue even existed in that compilation. Felt like it should have been at like a festival or some shit. Like it was just a really good one.
If you're going to watch, if our waxing nostalgic has you thinking you want to watch the Matrix or the Animatrix movie again, if you specifically the Animatrix, take your edibles after the Second Renaissance.
Oh my God,
Theory.
That was a bad time.
You can't watch that shit high.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard enough sober.
Yeah, I was about to say, Second Renaissance is hard enough to watch sober.
That was a thing. But what it made me remember was the segment that is directed by the Aeon Flux guy.
Yeah.
The running segment, which is really, really, really fucking good because each one of them is really fucking good. But that one in particular is really good.
I don't think
that's not the Aeon Flux
the running
guy.
one.
That's
is,
not...
No,
the running one is in the Aeon Flux guy.
Yeah, the Aeon Flux guy is the very last one where they try to like reform the robot.
That's the one. Okay, okay, that makes a lot more sense.
The one, the runner, that's the best one. In my opinion, it's the best one.
I knew that was your favorite.
Matrix,
I told Lissa that it was when we watched
It's my absolute favorite. Fuck, I forgot the director's goddamn name.
But he's somebody, though. He's done something...
He did Redline.
Yeah.
He did Redline, which is spectacular spectacle as well. He's very, very good at very highly stylized art style, and the comic style shadowing is really tight.
I knew the Aeon Flux guy did one of them. And that just made me think of, yet again, about how we were talking about the old days of TV when your friends all watched the same stuff as you.
Yeah.
And I know I've mentioned on here before, I've talked about those Checkers commercials at the... Have I ever told that story?
You gotta eat.
Have I told that on the podcast, though?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I think you have, because I remember it. You saw this commercial where it's directed by Peter Chung.
It's animated really well.
In animated...
They were Checkers commercials, the fast food restaurant.
And it basically
you folks can't see at home, but I'm literally just looking at Ada with the most perplexed look on my face. Peter Chung, Aeon Flux person.
Yeah,
yes.
Right?
Made Checkers commercials.
Yes, Peter Chung.
In the early aughts, late 90s, early aughts. and they had...
Yeah, somebody drives a guy off the road to steal his burger.
It always stars this woman. This woman is the protagonist. It's like this Mad Max-esque landscape with these like supercharged cars and like a desert wasteland and raiders and shit. And this girl like defeats and kills these other like raider men for their Checkers food. And
I mean, I would too. You ever had Checkers?
No, I haven't.
It's pretty good.
We almost went there. Jen and I were in Maryland for
where we have a lot of them for some reason. I don't know why.
I don't think I've ever seen them in Virginia. Like, oh, Checkers, but then we got really tired and like, yeah, later.
The only experience with Checkers beer I has is looking at a fucking history book and seeing the war crimes of Chiang Kai-shek's checkers.
That's so funny. I forgot to laugh. No, I really like. So the thing about those commercials, though, and watching the same shit as your friends, is those commercials aired in the morning when I was waiting and ready to go to school, and I would get to school, and like one day I mentioned those commercials to my friends, and they had no idea what the fuck I was talking about. And I knew they were watching. I knew they were watching the same channel that I was, because they watched the same episode of the same show that morning in the same small town.
Are you trying to say that these fucking Peter Chung Checkers commercials are your Candle Cove?
They really are. That's what it fucking felt like, and nobody believed me that they existed until like 20 years later when we had YouTube.
20 years later, and you were telling your dad about the commercial, and your dad's like, oh, well, you know what, actually, during that time slot, you used to stare at the television, and it was static.
Yeah.
And you would go, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And you'd go, daddy, daddy, daddy.
No.
I want to Checkers Burger.
No. I found one of the commercials on YouTube, and I sent it to FBM, and he's like, he literally has been saying these existed for 20 years. I'm like, how did you not see them? I know, we were in the same small town watching the same channel. Why didn't you see these?
Yeah.
Why was I the only one?
They were gaslighting you, B-Ride.
You want to know something else wild?
What?
Peter Chung also did the animation direction for the Rugrats pilot episode.
That's insane.
You know,
if you look it up, it's like,
wow.
Oh shit, that's Peter Chung.
Wow. I don't think I've...
But it's fucking Tommy Pickles with a screwdriver.
What happens in the pilot episode?
They do some shit.
They do some baby shit.
Yeah.
You know, everybody remembers the Rugrats so fondly. Actually, that brings something up. So, like, there's this new CG series that they're making the Rugrats with. Mm-hmm. And, like...
Oh, yeah, it looks bad.
Honestly, like, I think this is just a grim awakening for a lot of people. That, like, Rugrats has just always been ugly.
Yeah.
Oh, they're fugly as fuck.
Rugrats has always just been fugly.
The
like, no matter what media, like, you just gotta realize, like, they took out all the personality. I'm like, no, the personality was icky. The show's gross to look at. That was kind of the point.
Yeah.
All of Klasky Supo's
it worked
cartoons
well
were
for
horrifying.
our real monsters.
Yes.
It did work well for our
because they're supposed to be monsters and gross. When they're supposed to be babies, it increases the grossness they already have.
Yeah. And another thing about the new show is you remember Betty and Howard? Phil and Lil's mom and dad.
Yes.
Yeah. Now Betty is a lesbian.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I'm not surprised.
She's a lesbian, and like I don't know what the reaction to that is. Mm-hmm. It's probably polarizing bullshit or whatever. But like honestly, I'd much rather have fucking lesbian.
Is it a retcon or did they just canonically break up?
I don't know about that part, but I'd rather just have a lesbian Betty in there than fucking have Howard around anywhere. That dude looked like a fucking pedophile. He looked like he touched them kids. He looked fucked up, man. I didn't like him. I didn't like Howard. Fuck him.
I don't even remember what Howard looked like. I only remember her in her like female symbol shirt.
Howard, he went up to the screen and he goes, "We're going to Washington, Colorado, we're in the capital."
Apparently, in the CG, she's got a Gemini symbol instead of a female symbol on her sweater. That's Gemini, right?
Are you sure she's Gemini.
It's the Sonic symbol.
I was gonna say, are you sure she's not a Homestuck troll?
That's the other thing. You know what? That's where the real controversy is that every time Betty comes on screen, she's like, "Well, hey there, Dee Dee, how's it going? Let me tell you about the newest Homestuck chapter I done read."
Here's an MS Paint drawing of Howard.
Okay, yeah, I remember him now. I had repressed
Very
him.
Unflattering.
Yes.
I had repressed him. That is a diddler.
Yeah, he looks like a dizzler.
That is a diddler sure as the day is long.
Buy our Frankenstein controlled t-shirts. That phrase is on it.
Howard is a diddler as far as the day is long. The shore as the day is long. I don't even know what I said anymore. Do you want me to talk about the Godzilla versus Hedorah
Is that her?
thing?
Did they just like reuse a character design?
Oh, what are you talking about?
I'm just trying to find.
Put that picture up on the screen. There it is.
All of
I'll have
these
to save that
references to images
Now
aren't going
put
to
the
do
picture.
anything.
Now put the picture of the two buff ladies with the guy going. That's it.
That's Rugrats.
Put that on the screen. Ada, put it. Yes.
There it is.
No context.
I just want to see her new partner.
You want to see her new parts?
Did they show her? Or did they just say, by the way, she's lesbian?
That's what I heard, is that she's a lesbian. I could be completely full of shit, because, the internet is just full of conflicting bullshit information. Hell, I could have fucking read, an inflammatory article that just straight made that shit up to get people into a froth.
Yeah.
So I'm not
So,
finding it.
I could have just been fucking fooled, dude. I don't know. I'll look it up later. We'll discuss it.
You're going to Google Rugrats characters lesbians and get horrifying art.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I found a screenshot from it where it seems to have most of the adult characters in it, and there's no
Howard?
No Howard, no other woman, though.
Howard is gone, but he's been replaced by no one.
Oh, maybe she's single and ready to Christian mingle.
She's in this picture. She's got Chaz on her shoulders.
What? Let me see.
So maybe they got a thing going.
Oh my god. Chaz.
Shut the fuck up, Chucky. Shut the fuck up.
You don't know anything, Chucky.
I want to big baloney. So we gotta stop going to Oni, please. This is
Great,
our
now I gotta put all
podcast,
these
damn it.
pictures on the screen.
You,
Thanks me for all the extra
I
work.
actually, you know what? And I'm gonna drop the biggest bomb before we lose the Rugrats thing entirely. I'm gonna drop the big bomb here. I prefer this look of the CG
Really?
to the cartoon, because having these characters translated into that format, it adds to the small pantheon of CG things that don't all look the fucking same.
Yeah.
At least it's a CG thing that looks fucking different.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with that. Although their day-glow eyes do frighten me. Like in every video and screenshot that I've seen, including that one, everybody's has these bright glowy eyes. That, not like bright glowy, like slightly they glow. Slightly the eyes glow, and it's a little weird.
It's all the radon.
I gotta.
How do you think they look like that in the first place? They're all radon babies.
Were we gonna talk about Godzilla?
Oh god.
We're running out of time to talk
we're
about
running out of
Godzilla.
time, yeah. We gotta talk about Godzilla versus Klasky Chapeau.
Versus Trash Bag.
So Godzilla vs. Hedorah is a movie that Lissa and I also watched recently, and we were like, let's fucking watch a Godzilla movie, and I was like, I actually haven't seen this one. So
Was that before or after you mainlined some edibles and watched Second Renaissance?
that was the day after.
Okay, that was a good pick me up then.
Yes. Godzilla vs. Hedorah goes back to, like, a lot of the original Godzilla movies had like pretty heavy-handed messages about social issues and stuff.
Yeah.
And this one was unsurprisingly about environmental, like, don't quit dumping shit in the ocean because it'll turn into a kaiju. And that's what happens.
Well, I mean, it kind of did in the real world. You ever seen the Trash Island in the Pacific?
It's horrifying.
That's a kaiju, if I ever saw one.
It really is. But Hedorah is basically that exact concept, only it comes alive. And it's a giant sludge-like tadpole monster that morphs through several different forms.
Oh my god, it's Shin Godzilla?
It's Frieza is a closer approximation there. This movie's insane.
Oh, is it?
It's insane for several. The premise is as always is new kaiju shows up, Godzilla shows up, they fight.
Particle wins.
Yeah, exactly the same as always. But this film makes several very strange choices.
Oh, this sounds good. I like this.
The first thing is that Godzilla is always, in every one of his scenes, introduced by sax music.
What?
He straight up
Like saxophone music?
Straight up saxophone music starts playing, and Godzilla knowingly strolls along and struts almost like he's dancing to the sax music and strutting onto the scene of a porno he's about to star in. And that is how he enters every single scene that features him in that
I gotta check
movie.
both sides of my face here to see if I'm stroking out. Okay, we're good. We're fine.
That is a thing that happens. So the movie, the human protagonists is
the characters everybody cares about.
Yeah, the character everybody cares about is a scientist he's like a marine biologist, and he's studying, the effects of pollution on, ocean life and whatnot, and his small son and his wife. And like they're introduced, and it's pretty clear what their connection to the ongoing phenomenon is, because obviously he's the scientist who's like, things are coming alive in the ocean at an unprecedented rate, this will lead to blah 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 blah, and the government's like, shut up, nerd. And then the kaiju shows up and they're like, we retract our shut up, nerd, what do we do now? It's always that.
Take backsies.
Then in the middle of all of this, there's a very, very random cut to like a 60s go-go dance scene. Like, looks like something straight up out of Austin Powers.
Oh my god.
But it's in Japan, and all the people dancing are Japanese. And,
so this movie was made in like the 1980s.
Yeah. And it keeps cutting to like this one guy at the bar, and you're like, who the fuck is this guy? Why does it keep cutting to him? Like, why is his the central narrative of this go-go dance scene? And
why are we having a go-go dance scene?
Exactly.
Questions upon questions. It's a sign. It's a mark of a good film. It keeps you asking questions.
It is way, way after all this established that he is the brother-in-law of the scientist. He's his wife's brother.
Okay.
And that's why. And he's like a young, happening 20s man.
20s man?
Yeah.
From the 1920s?
He's in his 20s, which I could have articulated better, but didn't.
He's a flapper.
He's a 20s-man.
He like, the power goes out because the kaiju are about to fight. And he and his girlfriend, who is like the main singer and dancer on the go-go stage, like flee, and they get into a car, and then they see both kaiju squaring up to duke it out. And he says the unforgettable line, "It's Godzilla. Let's get closer." And they drive closer to watch the fight and predictably nearly die.
Well, I mean, even Japan's got to have its white people.
Yes.
maybe not in ethnicity, but in spirit.
Exactly. And then later on...
Oh, gosh golly, look at that. Would you look at that?
Later on, I'm heavily abridging for time here, not that anything really of quality is being cut. Later on, after his connection to the rest of the characters is established, and they develop a new plan to lure in Hedorah and kill him once and for all, and Godzilla presumably is going to help and everything. They establish all that. The go-go dancing guy comes back, and he's like, we're going to gather all the youths of Japan and have a giant rager party at the base of Mount Fuji in defiance of Hedorah for some reason. I don't know why... Hedorah never said we couldn't party, so I don't know why this is in defiance of him. But
you were young once. You made parties at the feet of giant creatures.
We'll demonstrate our shonen spirit by by partying it up and having a big ass bonfire. So they do that, and it doesn't end well.
I mean, any excuse to have a really big bonfire, if you ask me.
And it shows them all having the bonfire. All the youths who've showed up. And then there's a random cut to, like, these hill folk.
What?
These creepy-ass, silent hill folk watching these teens party.
Like Hills Have Eyes type people?
Well, yeah.
Do they look like Klasky Chabot characters, but in real life?
No, they just look like old-timey Japanese people who are, like, very stoic and creepy-looking.
Oh.
And they're just watching through, like, some reeds, all these teens party. And it's just a very quick cut to them. It never explains who they are.
What?
And then, like, the rest of the movie proceeds.
No, what? What? Why?
And then later
do they become important later?
No!
Oh my god.
It is never explained who they were.
What? They're just dead fucking random hill folk?
Yeah, there's just hill folk watching the teens party, and it shows them for all of 10 seconds, and then cuts to the rest of the movie.
This seems like fucking Manos, The Hands of Fate. But fucking with lizards and trash bags.
And then there's several hilarious fights between Godzilla and Hedorah, which involve lots of costumes and wire work. And
of course.
Typical 60s Godzilla fare. And
is that the movie where he glides on his tail?
Yes!
And
I forgot about that.
Does the flying kick?
No, not even that.
What?
So Hedorah... starts, like, they kill Hedorah, and then he comes alive again for no reason. And
Hedorah comes alive on stage this week. Sorry.
Then he attempts to fly away, and Godzilla, to prevent Hedorah's escape, just starts blasting his own, like, breath attack that he does, and just, like, folds himself into a cannonball shape and rockets off the ground.
What?
And flies after Hedorah in an
What?
aerial pursuit, just using his own breath ray to rocket propel himself through the air
Yo,
for a
that's so-
very long distance.
That's fucking clutch, dude. I love that.
And then he finally just tackles him and re-kills him. And it literally does not explain whatsoever why he failed to die the first time they killed him. He just comes alive again. And you're like, is it going to happen a third time? What?
Oh,
and then the
man.
movie just ends.
What? It just ends. What are you talking about?
They're like, Godzilla won.
Yeah, but see, the Hill people appear again in the after credits scene where Thanos shows up. They were planning Avengers Endgame for a real long time, dude.
Yeah.
They were planting those seeds.
Before Thanos was even created.
Before Thanos had
Thanos,
big...
the hands of fate.
Before Thanos, the hands of fate!
I mean, his hands did have like fateness to them, considering the
true.
gauntlet and the stones.
He
and
had
everything.
he had the time stone. He had the reality stone.
Thanos, the stones of fate.
Yeah, he had the stone of fate. He had the lens of truth. He had the hook shot. He had bombs, rope, lamp oil, rope, bombs.
The iron boots.
It's about time to end the episode tonight. One thing I was reminded of talking about Hedorah and Godzilla and everything. Apparently, there is a line of Godzilla monster
Action figures?
Figures.
Oh, just like figurines?
Where they're like bowed at podiums, giving a public apology for their actions.
What?
Like how I mean, you see it anywhere, but I guess in Japan it's a lot more expected. When somebody fucks up, they present on national TV a public apology for what they've done.
Oh,
And,
yeah. Like,
All of the kaiju have been hit by the Persona kids. And
Yeah,
basically. Their respective palaces destroyed.
I like
But
that.
there's like a figure for every monster where they're bowed in front of this podium, and the podium has like a banner on it that says sorry for whatever they did. So like sorry for wrecking the city, etc. But for Hedorah, she's just at the podium and it says, I apologize for nothing.
That's awesome. That's the name of this episode.
I apologize for nothing.
Yes.
Hedorah, I apologize for nothing.
Hedoranism bot. I apologize for nothing.
See, I forget the exact phrasing. It might have just been, I did nothing wrong.
That's the best Mountain Dew flavor. Good night, everybody.
Now even you know I am a menace. I hand you the secrets to save the entire human race and the entire universe.